Hello, and welcome to the very first episode of The Actual Entrepreneur. I am your host, Ranier Ross, also known as Ace, and this is a podcast that I am finally starting after being reminded by Facebook that I had been talking about starting it for over a year. I got that little memory notification, and I was actually talking to somebody about the podcast, and it was a year ago. So I'm finally doing it. This is kind of the pilot episode where I kind of like figure out the structure, kind of work out the kinks, figure out if I'm gonna like continue to do this on a scheduled basis or anything like that. So just keep that in mind as we continued. So, as the name implies, who is the actual entrepreneur? Well, to me, that person is anybody who realizes that the typical 9 to 5 isn't the path to true happiness. It's the people that are actually striving for true financial freedom. So, this podcast is pretty much dedicated to everyone that fits in that category. Even if you haven't started on your entrepreneurial journey yet, this is for you. So, the purpose of the podcast, I'm going to be documenting my personal journey. I'm going to be sharing some tools and education that I've gathered along the way, and also interviewing people that are several times more successful than me, getting their inputs. And I actually want to make this, interactive, getting your insights and input as well. So we'll be doing like some Q&As. You'll be allowed to submit questions, and I'll have specific guests that are going to be well suited to answer those questions as you send them in. So it's pretty much me starting this and failing forward, as they say, kind of like I said, working out all the kinks and making a show that people want to listen to if they're trying to either become an entrepreneur, like get started, or they've been doing it for a little bit and they would just like some extra assistance. It's just pretty much a educational space. So I'm going to get right into it with the first topic of the actual entrepreneur, which is going to be starting. So it's a topic that a lot of people are familiar with because many people have actually tried to get started as an entrepreneur. This is based off stuff that we haven't learned in school. So you're thinking about, maybe I have to sell some products online, or I just want to start my own business. How do I get started with it? And it's very confusing because when you go through school, you're basically taught how to be an employee. And so to actually try to be a business owner, it's a totally separate thing. It's a totally separate mindset. So it all starts from, the training. And with myself, I started really taking this seriously last year, which at the time of this recording is going to be February of 2018. And, I had this job working with a merchandising company, and I was like, I don't want to do this forever. And my main thing was I thought further in the future, like, there's going to be a point where I'm going to be really too old to do manual labor and stuff like that. So I want to be able to do something where I can do it from home and I can work my own hours, just all those conveniences so that it's easier for me later on in life. That was my whole mindset of even starting to look into how I could do this for myself. So I started, I just started with a simple Google search, how to make money online. And I actually ran into something called ClickFunnels, which is like this page builder software. And from that application, I actually came into the group, and it's like all of these entrepreneurs that are just really crushing it with all their specific fields. And it's just stuff that you would have never thought about, because usually when you think about, making money online, you think about I have to sell these weight loss shakes, or because that's how I started out before I like really got serious. A few years before that, I was working for a company selling dietary supplements, and I was okay at it, but I wasn't making a lot of money. And I was actually using the product, and I thought it was a good product at the time, but I just didn't feel like it was something that I wanted to do long term. So I wanted to have something that was like kind of my own thing that I didn't have to rely on somebody else's products for. So that's where I started looking into ClickFunnels and like how to get started with my own business and how to create products and stuff like that. So my business that I started is basically just freelance digital marketing. And it's basically providing marketing services for, other entrepreneurs and local businesses. And that's through things like Facebook ads, Google ads, YouTube ads, viral sweepstakes, just anything like that that gets more eyes on the business and in turns gets them more leads, customers, and sales. So I did training. I would do I got the Billy Genius marketing. You'll probably start hearing about him more if you haven't already in the space. Most of the entrepreneurs in the digital marketing space, they've already heard of him. But like I said, Billy Genius marketing, I did his courses. Kat Howell, I took her course. And I spent a few months just basically learning about digital marketing before I even got my first client. So that whole process, and keep in mind, I'm still working my 9 to 5 job. I'm traveling out of state to merchandise, and I'm away from home like 3 weeks out of the month. It just really wasn't something that I wanted to keep doing forever, but I needed to have that income obviously to, sustain myself and also to be able to pay for my training. So I think when it comes to starting out, that's something that's super important for people to realize that you need to have that income source because even if you try to do everything completely organic, it still is going to cost you because you got to do training because you don't when you come into this you don't know anything, so you want to make sure you're getting training. You want to make sure you have the software that you need to do whatever you're trying to accomplish, and it pretty much makes it faster if you're able to invest into yourself, at least into your education. Even if you don't buy any software or anything like that, you want to at least be able to invest in your education. And so we got training that I went through, and then started getting clients. And from there, it was like I was still training, but I'm actively doing what I was training for. Because with this, you're always learning. That's the most important part, is to keep learning. So I would get clients, I would try a few things out that I had already learned, and then just add to that, repertoire of knowledge that I could apply to other clients, and then just it forms this snowball effect of things that that you can use to actually grow your business. And that's where a lot of people mention getting mentors. Now when they talk about mentors, a lot of people are thinking, well, I got to spend thousands of dollars on a mentor, and that's not necessarily the case. You can actually have a mentor that doesn't even know they're mentoring you. Like, you can go to some of these groups and just see somebody that is successful, listen to their story, follow them on social media, and you can learn that way without actually having to spend a dime on their actual mentoring. And so if you're, strapped for cash, that's one way I really recommend on getting started. And then eventually you may want to actually go ahead and do some kind of coaching or mentorship program. But like I said, guys, that's just going to be like a brief intro of the kind of stuff that I'll be covering during these podcasts. This one's going to be a little bit shorter because it's just a pilot, and I just want to get a feel of the direction that I want to go with it, how people are going to perceive it, and stuff like that. But if you have any questions regarding what's involved with entrepreneurship, training, software, anything like that, you can actually use the app that I'm using to produce the podcast, which is Anchor. And it's cool because you'll be actually able to send a voice message with your comments or questions, and then I can put those on the show. So I'll have all the information in the descriptions wherever you're watching this, because this is going to be on YouTube, my Facebook, like pretty much all the social media links are going to be in the description, and you'll be able to ask those questions. Now, you can actually put if you want your clip used inside the episode or not, if you want, or just type it out and send it to the email that's going to be provided in the description if you don't want that. But also, if you'd like to be interviewed on the show, you can also leave me a comment anywhere that you see this in the description. You can send an email to info@asolutionsllc.org, and I will let you know. I do have some interviewees lined up already, so it might take a while for me to get back to you, but I will try to do that in a timely manner. But yeah, just leave a comment. Let me know what you think of, the kind of format. Let me know if the audio is okay, things like that, and what you want to learn about during this podcast. But until the next episode, I will see you all next time.